Yala Sangha. So I'm really grateful that you've signed up to join in these 31 days. I have a couple of things that might be helpful for us to discuss before we even begin anything. Our attention span is getting limited. If you're anything like me, you might find that you can't find it a bit more difficult to read a book. Everything we see on TV, even a documentary I was watching the other day, like there's so many edits and quick changes, and that really lends itself to not being able to keep your mind on something for any period of time. So there's bound to be, even today in your first day, in this next 20 minutes, times where you get a little distracted, okay? Hopefully not too bored, okay? But even that's okay. Being bored is okay. It's kind of something we've lost. So we're going to be doing yoga every day for the next 31 days. We will do 20 minutes roughly per day. And we've got a little timer set to watch where I'm at in terms of time. I'm really delighted that you're doing this, and I really encourage you to try and be committed, okay? It's 20 minutes, it's maybe 1 and a bit % of your day. So you can do this, and we can do this as a community, as a collective. So each day what we'll do is we'll do a little introductory talk. I'll give you something that relates to yoga. I will give you some movement that I think is helpful. There's movements that we're going to repeat almost every day, because a lovely German teacher said to me once, and I'm sure it's not original from her, but repetition is the mastery of all skills. So there's some movements that I want us to do every day and see how where we're at with that. In terms of equipment, you for sure use a yoga mat if you like a yoga mat. If it's helpful to roll out a yoga mat and set up your space. You know, I've spent a long time this morning setting up this space to begin leading this. A cushion or two, or something to sit on that keeps your hips a bit higher than your knees, for when we're just settling down to start, and then we'll go into the movement. We'll do some work on breath, and hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have a few practices that are helpful for us. I'll also give you a relaxation technique in it as well. So it's a lot to get done in 20 minutes. I've already been talking for 3, I can see from my timer. So we'll start, okay? It's good to lay down why we're doing what we're doing, okay? So what we're going to do today in terms of movement is just joint mobilization from a standing position. There's many movement skills that we'll try and develop over the next month. If you're in a seated position, try and stand up without using your hands. So that'll be the first thing we're going to try, is to get up from the floor. I'll move my cushion without using your hands, and then sit back down again without using your hands. So see if you can sit down without using your hands, and if you can come up without using your hands, okay? And we can develop that skill over the period of this month together, and we can see if that's something that our mobility, and eventually you want to try and be able to come down without using your knees, right? Okay, so you're just using the mobility and the strength of your feet to push into the floor and drift up, and probably, and come back down. And probably you'll favour one side. So eventually you want to be able to do the other side too, okay? And come down that way too, okay? So this is going to be something to practice over the month that will definitely help with the mobility of your hips, your knees, your ankles, the mobility of your feet. So once you get up, the next time, just stand, give your legs a wee shake off, give your arms a wee shake off. We'll be shaking a lot, okay? Roll your shoulders, see how that feels. And then let's start at the base of our bodies and just roll into the inside edge and outside edge of your feet, okay? Rolling backwards and forwards, seeing how that feels, okay? And then lift up all your toes and try and spread them out and lay them down, okay? Do that again, lift up all your toes, spread them out, lay them down. And then we're going to make little rainbows with our heels. So take your heels to one side, lift them all the way up, and place them to the other side. So you're keeping the front of your foot where it is, and you're lifting and laying, lifting and laying. Okay. And if you find in this month that there's a particular movement practice that you were like, oh, that was really good that day, you're welcome to just start developing your own movement practice. Okay, rather than necessarily follow everything that comes from me. Okay, and then place your weight on one foot, let the other foot come slightly behind. And what we're going to do is make circles with our knees and try and keep everything below your knee super relaxed. Okay, so you're circling your knee in one direction, and then you're circling in the opposite direction. Okay, like that happen. So really the foot becomes super loose. Sometimes this is actually really useful if you're a runner to kind of warm up your lower legs. Okay, and if you've got shoes on, sometimes the rubber end of your shoe can help this happen a wee bit easier. Okay, so try the other side. Put your weight on the other foot, let your big toe come down, and roll this through. Okay, simple, hopefully. Okay, keeping the leg relaxed underneath your knee may be a little less simple, and then try it in the opposite direction. Good. Good. And then bring both your feet together. Place your hands on your knees and just let your knees go forwards and backwards initially. Okay, so you've got really bent knees, taking your knees forward in the direction of your toes, and then back, forwards and back. Okay, and then start to make big circles with your knees. Try to, once we start a movement and we start sequences, try to keep your attention on yourself, okay? Try to notice what you're feeling, what's happening with your body. Maybe subtle differences between, or big differences between one side and another. I always say you've got one good side and you've got one great side, okay? Good. And once you've got the knees moving like this, again, this is all helpful if you're a runner. Take your feet a little bit wider, okay? Or if you move at all, right? You don't have to run. And let your hands rest on your hips and start to circle your hips now, okay? This is a movement I've been doing for quite a long time. I haven't taught it for a while, but I was watching a group that I really trust called the Gold Medal Bodies, GMB, and they have YouTube channels. And actually the lead guy of that organisation was talking about this movement the other day and how underrated it is as a movement. Okay, good. So once you get the hips warmed up, take your feet a little bit wider, bend your knees and sink your hips, okay, and just sweep your arms from side to side. Get nice and loose through your shoulders, tap your shoulders, one side and the other side, maybe tapping your lower back, okay. And then once we've got this kind of beginning to loosen our bodies, bring your hands to the center and slide them down your knees, okay? And take your weight a little bit from one foot to the other foot. See how that feels, okay? Good. And then to start, get some movement in our spine and mobility in our spine. Bring your fingers inside, okay? And start to make a cat and cow movement here. So drawing your nose towards your belly and then letting your belly come out towards the floor. Drawing your nose toward your belly and then sticking your belly out, okay? And then a little bit from side to side again. Whatever's kind of feeling good, right? We're really going to explore this month, going a bit on feel, okay? What do you feel like your body needs to do? See if you can bring one shoulder down towards the opposite. Come back to the center and the other shoulder towards the knee. Come back to the centre. One more time either side. Dropping. Coming back and dropping your shoulder. And coming back. Okay. And then coming back to the centre. Good. Push into the floor and come all the way up. Bring yourself to a standing position where you can shake off your arms, your legs, roll your shoulders, see how that feels. Start to spread your fingers. Really extend them out, like the way you put on a glove, right? Actually, a lot of the postures we'll do in yoga, it's kind of good to imagine that feeling that that's what you're doing with your body. Like you've got a posture-shaped glove, okay, where you're just stretching out into things. So spread your fingers and then take movement into your wrists. Okay, so start to rotate the wrists in one direction. And start to rotate them in the opposite direction. Good. Start to shake them off, okay? And then let's get into our elbows by lifting our arms slightly and start to rotate your elbows. So the forearms are moving in a circle, the hands are moving in a circle. You might notice this in your shoulders, you might notice this different one side to the other side, change direction. See how that feels. Good. And then from there, shake off, get nice and loose. We're going to do our shoulders, so the best way, or one of the best ways we can do this is to place our fingers on top of our shoulders and start to make circles with our elbows. And try and get those circles comfortable, and then gradually we'll try and extend them. We'll come back to this practice a few times over the course of our month together. Okay, so moving your elbows round and round. So it's going to be fairly simple, right? But the consistency will be key. The consistency we have working through this together. And circle in the opposite direction, a little click in my shoulder, it's interesting to hear. And then shake off. Shake off through your fingers, through your wrists, through your forearms, through your elbows, through your upper arms, through your shoulders. Thompson, who's not here today, but he shakes, as soon as he gets up, he gives himself a shake, okay? Shake off your toes. There's actually some therapeutic techniques which involve shaking your wrist. Well, your ankle. Shake off your lower leg, your knee, your upper leg, your hip. Shake off your toes, your other foot, your lower leg, your knee, your upper leg and your hip. So one of the things that starts to change as we get older is our balance. So each day we'll add some balance and we'll try and progress that. So let's start with one of the most famous yoga postures of all, Vrikshasana, tree posture. And let your weight rest on your left foot and slide your right foot in. If you want to, push your palms together, push your palms together. And from there, slide the other foot slightly up, if you want to. If you're somebody who loves the foot up here, obviously, that's the option too. There's all sorts of research now on balance and how it's an indicator of longevity. So we want to improve our balance, okay? See if you can hold it, another few seconds, another few breaths. See if you can keep the breath fairly steady here. Relax through your body. I always say, try and be more like a leaf that has some give, or a blade of grass that has some give, rather than a stiff tree. And then slowly release. Shake off. Get nice and loose, especially that leg that you've been standing on. Try the other side. Put your weight through the other foot, point the other foot out, slide it in, bring your hands together. Wherever you like to lay your foot. Okay, this side might be different to the other side. If you want the toes down, keep them down. If you want them up, bring them up. If you want them inside your thigh, bring them inside your thigh. My trousers are too slippy on that side. And just let your foot rest. Again, slow your breath down. We'll gradually progress our balance through various single leg postures that we use in yoga, like Warrior 3. We'll try and mix things up by moving with single leg balances, closing our eyes, all sorts of techniques that we can use to gradually become much more competent in our balance. Good. Remember, keep a wee smile on your face, it's free. Nice. Let that foot come down. Back to where we started. Let's see if we can sit down without using our hands too much. Okay. Good. Okay. So if you have your cushion, bring your cushion and set yourself into a seated position that's helpful for you. Okay. And each day we'll do some breathing techniques. Today it's fairly simple. We will be trying to make our breath slow and smooth, okay? So find somewhere for your hands to rest. Let your shoulders soften. Extend through the back of your neck slightly so your chin drops maybe 1/2 inch. And take your focus to your breath. Slowly in, slowly out. Making it smoother and slower. And notice where your mind is at the moment. You might start to think about today, the rest of the month, the rest of the year. Wherever it's at, just let it go. Let's be here. Let's be in this moment together. And if you can, follow the breath for one full inhale and one full exhale. If you've got time, please feel free to pause the video or stop the video and come to Shavasana where we lie on our back. I'll leave space for that each day. You can, sometimes we'll include it in the practice. Sometimes we'll leave it as an option for you. There's one final thing I want us to try today, and it's a tool that might be useful to take with you. So we're going to artificially create some tension in our bodies. So what we're going to do is squeeze our hands together, squeeze our toes, squeeze our shoulders up to our ears, squeeze our belly in, squeeze our buttocks, squeeze our legs, okay? Take an inhale, squeeze everything a little bit harder. And as you exhale, just open your hands, drop your shoulders, release your feet, release your buttocks, release your belly. And breathe here. Okay, let's try that one more time, okay? Squeeze your hands into a fist, squeeze your toes, squeeze your buttocks, squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, squeeze your face. Take an inhale, squeeze everything a bit harder. And exhale, let everything go. Let your hands go, let your feet go, let your shoulders drop, let your belly relax. Do that one more time, but this time we don't create any tension, okay? Just inhale. And exhale, let go of your hands, Let go of your feet. Let go of your belly. And again, slow inhale. And exhale, let go. This is actually a useful technique for a couple of things. So today, when you're going around your day, maybe when you're driving or dealing with your family, notice the level of tension, resistance, and try and let it go. And also when you're trying to sleep. Sometimes if I can't sleep, I will take an inhale and I'll exhale and I'll consciously let go through my neck, through my shoulders, through my body, down to my toes. And I'll do that for a few breaths. And it's really, even if I don't get to sleep, it at least feels more restful than worrying about sleeping. Okay, day one over. Well done, everybody. I'm really glad you're joining this journey. I feel a little responsibility for this, so I want to make it as best I can, which is why I've spent so long setting everything up today with the camera and the microphones and the configuration of the room. So it's going to be hard, right, to stay committed. So really set yourself a time tomorrow that works for you, okay? And really, don't miss it, right? To achieve anything in life, we need to create the space for it, right? So whatever you have to do to create some space tomorrow to join again, whether that's got up early or not watch YouTube or miss something, not for me, for you. The idea is that we build more determination as we commit to something, and then other things become achievable. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Yala Sangha.